Maini Janakiri and then our listeners, we are back. And if you have a question about immigration, this is our first segment about immigration. So if you have any question, please feel free to call us at the radio number 1-855-772-8278. We are talking about immigration, U.S. immigration thing, and the attorney Shah Peerally with us. And we would continue about the immigration things. Sure. So we were talking about the immigration. I receive a couple of emails right now, so I would like to share with you, and most probably you will answer about the investor visa, because most of people is sending me an email. Why do you talk about the investor visas? Would you like to share something about the investor visa, Shah?
Well, there are different kinds, right? For one, you have the E-visa, which is the E1 and the E2, which is not available for every country, unfortunately. It's available for Pakistan, it's available for some Arab countries, some European countries. If you have a citizenship there, you can benefit from that. And it requires a certain amount of investment, like $120,000 on a genuine business. It doesn't lead to a green card, by the way, the e-visa. It's just a visa for you to be able to work, and your spouse will get a dependent visa where they can work also. But down the road, you can change it also to other kinds of visas, maybe H-1B or something like that. It's a good visa for countries like, for example, Pakistan, where you're familiar with. We work with many of their deals. They can invest money in the United States, and they can get this visa. It's if you want to read more about it, you can check my website on peerallylaw.com, Peerally law.com. A lot of business can qualify, including a subway and things like that. But the e-visa is kind of a tricky visa because you have to maintain the business, etc. And down the road, some people are having issues with it. But it's a good visa. At least it gets you inside United States, and here you can develop.
So, is there any minimum investment amounts to describe about there?
Well, technically, we encourage the amount of $120,000, but you can still win a case if you show genuine business plan and less money. But it's recommended to have at least $100,000 and more. And then also it's recommended to have a good business plan. You don't have to have a minimum people to be working for you, like the EB5, which I'm going to mention in a few minutes. But the e-visa is a good option. At least no, there's no really a minimum, but it is recommended to have a certain amount of money.
Oh, thank you very much. So I have another question which I received through my email, because people are still sending me emails about the question. So could you please tell us about the L1 visa as well?
Well, L1 is another option, which is very a good option, but it doesn't apply to everybody, unfortunately. The L1 visa is a visa of transfer visa. Basically, if you have a company in India, and for example, or Pakistan or any other country foreign, and you are opening a branch, or you're affiliating yourself with another branch, and during that with that affiliation with the branch, you can go ahead and file for the L1 visa. There are two kinds of L1. There's a L1A, which are for executive and managers, and there are requirements on that. One of the requirements is like you have to be working for that company since the past 2 years for 1 year, and you have to be managing an executive, or managing basically an executive that will manage high level people. We have done it successfully for some companies. Usually the first visa is obtainable, but then when the renewal of the L1, where it becomes a little bit tricky, so you have to show that the business was genuine and there is affiliation. For example, we have companies, one of our clients who was dealing in textile, he has been trading with the United States, so he came here, he set up a marketing company that will market the textile. He was able to obtain an L1A. The good thing with an L1A, you don't have to be having any kinds of degrees in there.
That's true.
Yeah, you just have to have a genuine business, and there are many requirements. You can call us if you want more details on 510-742-5887.
So मेरा ख्याल है कि जितनी emails about e-visa, investor visa और L1 visa के ऊपर मुझे आई थी मेरे लिसनर्स ने ईमेल करी हमें, उसके मुताबिक आई बिलीव सो कि आपको जवाब शाह ने बड़ा ही क्लियरली और बड़ा डिटेल में दे दिया होगा. इवन देन अगर आपको फर्दर इन्वेस्टर वीज़ा के ऊपर या L1 वीज़ा के ऊपर आपका कोई मज़ीद क्वेश्चन है तो प्लीज़ हमें कॉल कीजिएगा 5107425887. सुबह सैटरडे को ऑफिस खुला हुआ है. उसके ऊपर अगर आप इन्वेस्टर वीज़ा के ऊपर कोई डिटेल में कोई बात करना चाह रहे हैं शाह के साथ, और यहाँ आप ई वीज़ा के ऊपर L1 वीज़ा के ऊपर आप डिटेल में बात करना चाह रहे हैं तो डेफिनेटली शाह आपके साथ इसके ऊपर आपको डिटेल में बात करेंगे. और शाह, राइट नाउ आई हैव अ लास्ट क्वेश्चन बिकॉज आई नो द टाइम इज रनिंग. देन वी हैव अनदर सेकंड सेगमेंट अबाउट द डेथ सेटलमेंट. बिफोर वी टच द डेथ सेटलमेंट, आई हैव अ लास्ट question about hopefully because the people still sending me some message on my Facebook and even the emails as well, but we have a very short time, so definitely we have to touch to other segments, to other topics. The last question the people ask me about the fraudulent documents to lie with the immigration, so what will be the consequences about it, Shah?
Well, lying to immigration can have very, very dire consequences, unfortunately, Wakas. Sometimes immigration will not be able to find anything wrong with your case, but unfortunately some people will be lying. And lying can be anything. You can tick a wrong box, for example. It can be considered as lying. We have a client right now who's, I think it wasn't right now, it was last year if I'm not mistaken, who had the same kind of situation where she ticked a box, instead of clicking yes, she ticked no, and it was totally innocent, but then the way the immigration portrayed it is that she lied on her application. Also, if you're providing documents, that's another thing which people have to know. If you're providing forged, fabricated documents, be very, very careful, because once they find out, you'll be lying, and lying to the immigration, lying to the government is a felony. And once a felony is something that is punishable by law into prison for more than 1 year, and based on that they can deny you your immigration benefits. So please don't do that. Talk to a good lawyer who can help you basically assess your case without going to fabricated documents.
That's really very informative. Thanks, Shah. Thank you very much about listeners. एक बात आपसे करूँगा कि हमने अपना पहला सेगमेंट जो है उसको हमने डिस्कस किया अबाउट US इमिग्रेशन. आप दोबारा बात करूँगा अगर आपके पास कोई क्वेश्चन है इमिग्रेशन के ऊपर, आइदर इज ए B1 वीज़ा, F1 वीज़ा, H1 वीज़ा, इन्वेस्टर वीज़ा, L1 वीज़ा, मैरिज पिटिशन, तो आप हमें कॉल कर सकते हैं ऑफिस नंबर पे. सैटरडे को शाह का ऑफिस जो है वो खुला हुआ है, काम कर रहे हैं. शाह के ऑफिस के ऊपर हम बात कर सकते हैं 5107425887. हमने काफ़ी हद तक कवर करने की कोशिश की इमिग्रेशन इश्यूज़ को, और अभी हम थोड़ा सा मूव करेंगे. जैसे मैंने आपसे पहले बात की कि हमारे 3 सेगमेंट्स हैं आज. फर्स्ट सेगमेंट हमने कोशिश की कि उसको कवर करें और मैक्सिमम इंफॉर्मेशन आपके साथ शेयर करें about immigration stuff, and now we are going to turn about debt settlement things. So debt settlement is a legal and binding way to reduce your debt without filing for bankruptcy. You are not destroying your credit score when you elect to your debt this way. So Shah, I would like to ask you a very briefly introductory thing about which every week we discuss about the debt settlement. Maybe we have a new listeners, that's why I'm asking you same question every Friday. So could you please tell us a little bit brief about what is a debt settlement?
Well, first of all, Wakas, it's true. And under bankruptcy, I just wanted to, before I get into that a bankruptcy, if you file a bankruptcy for 10 years, it's not great sometimes. And for 7 years, you cannot refile. If you have an emergency, let's say you get a lawsuit on your head and you owe a lot of money and you already use your bankruptcy chance, it will be a problem. But if you do a debt settlement, you can always go into a bankruptcy. And of course, regarding the credit score, debt settlement also will bring down some of your score. But ultimately, it's easier and faster to get back on track on your credit repair rather than in a bankruptcy. Well, let me tell you what is a debt settlement. A debt settlement is basically the process of negotiating with your creditors to pay off your credit cards and other unsecured debts. For example, student loans. Unfortunately, student loans are very hard to negotiate, Wakas, but they are considered unsecured loans. But because they are not dischargeable under the bankruptcy, unfortunately, and auto loans also, but auto loans are kind of secured by the car itself, and homes also. But what we are calling about the mortgages, home mortgages, etc., they are secured debts, and they are not. You cannot use that. You cannot really negotiate those, because you can negotiate under loan modification. However, you can always negotiate your second loan. We can always settle your second loan, and if you need help on that, you can give us a call. What happens is, whenever we are negotiating in the debt settlement, we will show your hardship, and we get leverage over the creditors. Most of the time, I'm very, very proud to say that we are getting an excellent outcome for most of our clients. Like yesterday, we got one client. This was a very interesting case. I want to mention that, Wakas. We had one client who owed $67,000 on a credit card, and he tried to file bankruptcy. The bankruptcy was dismissed. Dismissed means the bankruptcy court didn't accept the bankruptcy, but he still ended up with the debts. But what happens is that when this happened, once you start the bankruptcy process, the entire file goes to a different department in the credit card department. And once it's there, it's locked, but it's still on your credit, and it still hurts you. What we did, we were able to take it out from that department, which takes a long time usually. It takes like 90 days most of the time, but we were lucky we were able to get it out in 2 days. We negotiated the debts, and in 3 days we were able to settle that debt for $16,000 only.
Wow, that's really great.
Yeah, I was very proud. And again, here I'll put a disclaimer. Just because I'm telling you we were successful in that one case doesn't mean we're going to be successful in all other cases, because cases are different, right? However, if you go on our website, yourdebtsettlementattorney.com, you will check the success stories. We have an amazing list of success stories. We have not put all of them there. We have put some of them which we thought is the most interesting ones. But usually we can get settlement between 20% of the value up to like sometimes 60%. So basically you can reduce your debts by 80% sometimes to 40%. And so far we do a good assessment. We don't charge anything up front, and then once we get the deal, then you pay us.
Okay, I have a quick question about because we are talking about the debt settlements. So Shah, do you have any experience about if someone have a garnishment judgment against them? So have you ever chance to handle that kind of a case?
Oh yes, we handle them every day, because this is the thing, Wakas. People don't realize is like the credit card companies are very powerful. They have those collection agencies, big ones by the way, that are standing there with 400-500 people collecting the money, and they have a big team of lawyers, really huge, big law firms on their side. And they won't waste time on you. If you are owing money for a long time and you're not in bankruptcy, a first step, like for example, American Express does that oftentimes. They will just go ahead and file a lawsuit against you. Most people don't have the money to defend themselves. And what happens next is they get a judgment against you. And once they get a judgment, technically they can start garnishing your checks. They can start taking money from your bank account. They can pretty much take all your assets. And I'm very proud to say, if you go again on our success stories on yourdebtsettlementattorney.com, you will read how we were able to get people a settlement post-judgment. That means after they get a judgment against them, we still got a deal for them.
That's really interesting. और मैं बात करूँगा अपने हिंदी और उर्दू लिसनर्स के लिए. जैसे शाह ने अभी बात की, हमारा सेकंड सेगमेंट चल रहा है डेट सेटलमेंट के ऊपर, और सेटलमेंट के ऊपर शाह ने बात कर रहे थे कि अगर आपका कोई इशू है, अगर आपके कुछ जो सिक्योर नहीं अनसिक्योर डेट सेटलमेंट के ऊपर आपको बात करना चाह रहे हैं, आपको कोई प्रॉब्लम है, तो फील फ्री आप कॉल कर सकते हैं शाह को, اور دوسری بات وہ گورنمنٹ کے اوپر یہ کر رہے تھے کہ اگر آپ یہ نارملی ہوتا یہ ہے کہ جس وقت کریڈیٹر جو ہے وہ آپ کو کال کر رہا ہے, آپ کو لیٹر بھجوا رہا ہے کلیکشن کے لیے, لیکن آپ اس کو پے نہیں کرتے ہیں, تو الٹیمیٹلی ان کے پاس ایک لمبی لائن ہے لائرز کی جو کہ آپ کو لا سوٹ فائل کرتے ہیں, اور ایونچولی ڈاؤن دا روڈ ہوتا یہ ہے کہ وہی لا فرم جو ہے وہ ججمنٹ لیتے ہیں آپ کے گارنشنگ کے لیے. آپ کی سیلری کو گارنش کیا جاتا ہے کہ وہ کچھ پرسنٹیج جو ہے تھرو شیرف آپ کی سیلری کو وہ گارنش کرتے ہیں اگر آپ ڈیفالٹ کر رہے ہو. ایون دین شاہ نے ابھی جو بات کر رہے تھے کہ وہ آپ کی اس گارنشمنٹ کو بھی سیٹل کروا سکتے ہیں. تو اف یو ہیو اینی کویشچن اباؤٹ ڈیٹ سیٹلمنٹ, اور اگر آپ گارنشمنٹ کے اوپر جو ہے وہ سفر کر رہے ہیں, اور اگر آپ کے ایک پراپرٹی کے اگینسٹ ایون لین لگی ہوئی ہے اور آپ کو آپ کے اگینسٹ ججمنٹ ہے تھرو یور کریڈیٹر نے آپ کی پراپرٹی یا آپ کے بینک اکاؤنٹ یا آپ کی سیلری کے اوپر گارنش لگائی ہے, ایون دین ان کے پاس اچھا خاصا سکسیس ریٹ ہے. ان کو کال کیجئے اور ان سے اپنی بات شیئر کیجئے. اگر آپ ابھی لائیو ریڈیو شو کے اوپر بات کرنا چاہ رہے ہیں تو ہمارا اسٹوڈیو نمبر ہے 1855-772-8278, اور دوسری صورت میں آپ آفس میں کال کر سکتے ہیں. سیٹرڈے کو آفس کھلا ہوا ہے. سیٹلمنٹ کے اوپر ڈیٹس کے اوپر آپ کو بات کرنا چاہتے ہیں تو آپ آفس نمبر پہ ہمیں کال کیجئے 510-742-5887. ڈائریکٹلی آپ شاہ کے ساتھ بات کر سکتے ہیں اور اپنے ڈیٹس کے جو بھی آپ کی پرابلم چل رہی ہے, آئدر اس وہ ڈیٹ آپ کا ڈائریکٹلی کریڈیٹر کے ساتھ ہے, وہ ڈیٹ آپ کا کلیکشن ایجنسی کے ساتھ ہے, یا خدا نخواستہ کریڈیٹر نے لا فرم کے تھرو آپ کو لا سوٹ فائل کیا ہے, اور اگر آپ کے اگینسٹ گارنشمنٹ ہے, آپ کے اگینسٹ لین لگی ہوئی ہے یا اکاؤنٹ فریز کیے ہوئے ہیں, ایون دین شاہ آپ کی ہیلپ کرنے کے لیے تیار ہیں, اور ان کے پاس بے شمار اچھی جو ہے مساہتہ اور اوپینینز اور سجیشنز اور ایڈوائس ہے جیسے آپ کو وہ ہیلپ آؤٹ کر سکتے ہیں. اینڈ اف یو ہیو اینی کویشچن, آئی ایم گوئنگ ٹو ریپیٹ ونس اگین, دا ریڈیو نمبر از 1855-772-8278.
Thank you, Akas. And we have 3 minutes before the break, so I will just go ahead and talk a little bit more about that.
Yeah, I have one more because the people sending the questions.
Yes,
Shah.
go ahead.
So we have actually with Narayan ji showing me we have
2 minutes.
Two more
How about
minutes.
we keep it for the next segment. We're going to be back at 1:05, so don't go anywhere. We're just going to play our ad, and then we're going to be back. So don't go anywhere. If you have any questions, keep it. You can also call us tomorrow on 510-742-5887.
ਕੀ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਬਾਰ-ਬਾਰ ਸੂ ਕੀਤਾ ਜਾ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਕ੍ਰੈਡਿਟ ਕਾਰਡ ਕੰਪਨੀਆਂ ਕਾਲ ਕਰਕੇ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਸੂ ਕਰਨ ਦੀਆਂ ਧਮਕੀਆਂ ਦੇ ਰਹੀਆਂ ਹਨ, ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਪੇਚੈਕ ਵਿੱਚੋਂ ਪੈਸਾ ਖਾ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ ਜਾਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਪ੍ਰਾਪਰਟੀ ਤੇ ਹੱਕ ਜਤਾ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ? ਕੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਵਿਰੁੱਧ ਜਜਮੈਂਟ ਫਾਈਲ ਕੀਤੀ ਹੈ? ਤਾਂ ਮੌਕਾ ਦਿਓ ਅਟਾਰਨੀ ਸ਼ਾਹ ਪਿਰਾਲੀ ਨੂੰ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਮਦਦ ਕਰਨ ਦਾ. ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਲਾਅ ਫਰਮ ਨੇ ਅਣਗਿਣਤ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਬੈਂਕਰਪਸੀ ਤੋਂ ਬਚਾਇਆ ਹੈ. ਸ਼ਾਹ ਪਿਰਾਲੀ ਲਾਅ ਗਰੁੱਪ ਇਮੀਗ੍ਰੇਸ਼ਨ ਦੇ ਮਸਲਿਆਂ ਨਾਲ ਵੀ ਡੀਲ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਨ. ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਅੱਜ ਹੀ ਕਾਲ ਕਰੋ 5107425887 ਤੇ 510-742-5887 ਤੇ, ਜਾਂ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਵੈਬਸਾਈਟ ਵਿਜ਼ਿਟ ਕਰੋ www.peeralilaw.com.
Are you being sued? Are the credit card companies suing you? Garnishing your checks? Putting liens on your property? Do they have a judgment against you? Let attorney Shah Peerally help you. His law firm has saved many from bankruptcy. The Shah Peerally Law Group also focuses on immigration law. Call them today at 510-742-5887, 510-742-5887, or visit them at www.peeralilaw.com.
ਕੀ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਬਾਰ-ਬਾਰ ਸੂ ਕੀਤਾ ਜਾ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਕ੍ਰੈਡਿਟ ਕਾਰਡ ਕੰਪਨੀਆਂ ਕਾਲ ਕਰਕੇ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਸੂ ਕਰਨ ਦੀਆਂ ਧਮਕੀਆਂ ਦੇ ਰਹੀਆਂ ਹਨ, ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਪੇਚੈਕ ਵਿੱਚੋਂ ਪੈਸਾ ਖਾ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ ਜਾਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਪ੍ਰਾਪਰਟੀ ਤੇ ਹੱਕ ਜਤਾ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ? ਕੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਵਿਰੁੱਧ ਜਜਮੈਂਟ ਫਾਈਲ ਕੀਤੀ ਹੈ? ਤਾਂ ਮੌਕਾ ਦਿਓ ਅਟਾਰਨੀ ਸ਼ਾਹ ਪਿਰਾਲੀ ਨੂੰ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਮਦਦ ਕਰਨ ਦਾ. ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਲਾਅ ਫਰਮ ਨੇ ਅਣਗਿਣਤ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਬੈਂਕਰਪਸੀ ਤੋਂ ਬਚਾਇਆ ਹੈ. ਸ਼ਾਹ ਪਿਰਾਲੀ ਲਾਅ ਗਰੁੱਪ ਇਮੀਗ੍ਰੇਸ਼ਨ ਦੇ ਮਸਲਿਆਂ ਨਾਲ ਵੀ ਡੀਲ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਨ. ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਅੱਜ ਹੀ ਕਾਲ ਕਰੋ 5107425887 ਤੇ 510-742-5887 ਤੇ, ਜਾਂ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਵੈਬਸਾਈਟ ਵਿਜ਼ਿਟ ਕਰੋ www.peeralilaw.com.